Welcome to this presentation. This presentation is designed to support you to transition into the workplace, moving from a graduate to a professional. We'll discuss guidance and strategies for successfully beginning your career. Before we get started, I'd like to briefly outline what we will cover in today's session. By the end of today, you'll have a clearer understanding of what's expected of you when you start your first professional role, including some of the key behaviours that employers look for. We'll also look into some practical strategies to help you make a strong start, particularly in those first few weeks when everything can feel a bit new and uncertain. Another key focus will be on how you can begin to build your professional identity. So how your actions, communication, and even your online presence shape how others see you. And finally, the overall aim is to leave you feeling more confident about navigating the transition from student to professional, with some simple, realistic actions you can take away and apply straight away. Transitioning from being a student to becoming a professional is one of the biggest changes you'll experience after graduation. At university, success is usually quite clearly defined through deadlines, exams, and individual achievement. In the workplace, success looks broader. It's not just about what you produce, but how you work. Being reliable, communicating effectively, collaborating with others, and delivering consistently over time. This shift can feel challenging, particularly because expectations aren't always written down or clearly explained. Instead, you're expected to take ownership of your work, manage your own time, and contribute to the team goals. There's also the adjustment to workplace culture. Every organisation has its own way of working. How people communicate, how decisions are made, and how feedback is given. Learning to navigate this comes with time, and it's completely normal to feel unsure at first. And for many graduates, this period can bring a bit of self-doubt as well. Feeling unsure or overwhelmed in those early weeks is really common. The key is recognizing that confidence develops gradually through experience and learning. So really, this transition isn't about what you know, it's about how you approach your work and how you respond to new situations. Before we look at professional behaviours in the workplace, it's useful to think about what professionalism actually means. Professionalism is much more than simply dressing appropriately or behaving politely. It's a combination of attitudes, behaviours, and standards that help build trust, credibility with colleagues, clients, and employers. One key aspect is specialist knowledge. As graduates, you've developed knowledge and skills through your studies, but professionalism also includes a commitment to continuous learning and staying up to date in your field. Another important element is honesty and integrity. Employers value people who act ethically, communicate openly, and take responsibilities for your actions. Professionalism also involves self-regulation, which means managing your behaviour, emotions, and workload effectively. This includes staying professional under pressure, adapting to challenges, and maintaining a positive approach. Competence is equally important. While nobody expects graduates to know everything from day one, employers do expect you to apply your skills, learn from experience, and continually improve. Alongside competence comes accountability. Taking ownership of your work, meeting commitments, and acknowledging mistakes when they happen are all signs of a professional approach. Finally, professional image plays a role. This isn't just about appearance, it's also about how you communicate, how you interact with others, and the impression you leave both in person and online. When all these elements come together, they create a professional reputation that can help build trust, credibility, and opportunities throughout your career. Workplace culture isn't always something that's written down clearly, but it shapes how things operate day to day. It includes the norms, expectations, and often unwritten rules that guide how work gets done. That might be how people communicate with each other, how decisions are made, or even how formal or informal interactions are within a team. For example, in some workplaces, communication might be very direct and fast-paced, while in others it might be more structured or formal. Neither is right or wrong. It's about understanding what's expected in your environment. As a new graduate, part of your role is to observe these patterns, how colleagues interact, how meetings are run, and how people respond to feedback. Asking questions and seeking feedback yourself can really help you build that understanding more quickly. Over time, this awareness allows you to adapt your approach and feel more confident in how you contribute within your team. In a new role, you're not expected to have all the answers, but you are expected to approach things in the right way. Developing a professional mindset is about being open to learning, taking responsibility, and being proactive in how you work. It means asking questions when you're unsure rather than staying stuck, and being willing to take feedback on board and improve. It's also about shifting from focusing only on your tasks to thinking more broadly about how your work contributes to the team and how you communicate and collaborate with others. A big part of this mindset is recognizing that mistakes and uncertainty are part of the process. Instead of seeing them as setbacks, they're opportunities to learn and develop. Over time, this way of thinking helps you build confidence because you're not putting pressure on yourself to get everything right straight away. Instead, you're focusing on progress and growth. And it's this mindset that really supports a successful transition into the workplace. And a big part of developing that professional mindset is understanding the environment you're working in. Once you start to understand the culture of an organization, it becomes much easier to recognize what's expected of you within it. Although every workplace is different, employers generally understand that recent graduates are still learning. However, there are clear expectations around behavior and attitude. One of the most important is professionalism. This includes being punctual, prepared, and respectful in your interaction with others. Simple things like showing up on time, meeting deadlines, and communicating early if something might go off track all help build trust, especially in those early stages. Employers also really value enthusiasm and initiative. Graduates who show interest in their work, ask thoughtful questions, and look for ways to contribute tend to stand out quickly. Another key expectation is effective communication. This isn't about having all the answers. It's about knowing when to ask questions, keeping others updated on your progress, and listening carefully. You're not expected to work everything out on your own, but you are expected to keep people informed and avoid making assumptions. Teamwork is also essential. Most roles involve working with others, so being open to feedback and responding positively to guidance shows both professionalism and a willingness to develop. Finally, employers expect you to take some ownership of your own development. That might mean reflecting on what's going well, recognizing areas where you want to improve, and setting small goals for yourself in those first few weeks and months. By delivering these behaviors early on, you will not only meet expectations, but you'll start to build confidence, credibility, and a really strong foundation for your career. Many of these expectations, like communication, professionalism, and teamwork, still apply even when you're not physically in the workplace. In fact, with remote and hybrid working now a normal part of many graduate roles, these expectations become even more important. Remote working brings a lot of flexibility, but it also comes with its own challenges. One of the first things to think about is your working environment. While not everyone has a dedicated office space, having a consistent area to work, a comfortable setup, and minimizing distractions can really help you focus on your overall well-being. Setting clear boundaries between work and personal time is also important, so you can maintain a healthy balance and avoid burnout. Professionalism in a remote environment is often communicated through your online behavior. Video meetings, for example, still require preparation, being on time, having your technology ready, and staying engaged throughout. Small things like avoiding multitasking, using mute appropriately, and contributing when needed all show respect for your colleagues. Written communication also becomes more important. Emails and messages need to be clear, polite, and professional, because without tone of voice and body language, it's easier for things to get misunderstood. Staying connected is another key part of working remotely. It's important to make the effort to check in with colleagues, contribute in meetings, and ask for support when you need it. Remote working doesn't mean working in isolation. Successful graduates are proactive in building relationships and staying visible within their team. By developing these habits early on, you can remain engaged, professional, and effective, no matter where you're working from. This slide brings together everything we've talked about into 3 simple, practical ways you can start building your professional identity from day one. The first is to start with self-awareness. In practice, this means staying curious, actively trying to learn, asking at least one question when you're unsure, or checking that you're on the right track. Shows engagement and helps you build confidence more quickly. The second is to get the basics right. This is often what people notice first: being on time, prepared, responsive, and keeping others updated. These small, consistent behaviors are what build trust and reliability in the workplace. And the third is being intentional about how you're showing up, both in your day-to-day work and online. Keeping your profile up to date, sharing your progress, and asking for feedback all help you shape your professional reputation over time. None of these things are complicated on their own, but together they make a big difference, especially in those first few months. As you start out in your career, it's important to remember that this stage is really about learning rather than getting everything right. Progress doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from small, consistent actions over time. And while you're not expected to know everything, you are expected to take some ownership of your own development. That's what helps you build confidence and credibility early on. One way to think about this is through 3 simple steps. The first is to set direction. Having a general sense of what you want to learn in your first few months can really help you stay focused. This doesn't need to be complicated. It might be developing confidence in certain tasks, building specific skills, or understanding how your team works. The second is to build support. The people around you are one of your biggest resources. Taking time to build relationships, ask questions, and learn from others will help you develop much more quickly than trying to figure out everything on your own. And the third is to reflect and adapt. Taking time to think about what's going well, asking for feedback, and making small adjustments is what helps you improve over time. By following this cycle, you move from just doing the role to actively shaping your early career and development. Overall, transitioning into the workplace isn't about having everything figured out from the start. It's about developing the right mindset, building strong everyday habits, and taking ownership of your growth. By staying curious, communicating clearly, and reflecting on your progress, you can build confidence over time and create a strong foundation for your career. It's those small, consistent actions that ultimately shape your success as you move from being a graduate to a confident and capable professional. As we come to the end of the session, I'd like to leave with you one final message. Your professional development doesn't stop when this webinar ends. The transition from graduate to professional is a journey, and it's completely normal to continue learning and developing as you gain experience. The most successful graduates are often those who stay curious, seek support when they need it, and remain committed to growth. We've included a number of resources here to help you continue that journey. Through the RGU Alumni eHub and the Graduate Success Toolkits, you'll find practical guidance, career resources, and support that you can access whenever you need it. I'd also encourage you to connect with us on LinkedIn, where we regularly share opportunities, career insights, employer events, and advice that can support you throughout your career. Thank you for taking the time to join this session, I hope you've gained some useful insights and practical strategies that will help you feel more confident as you begin your professional journey. We wish you every success in your future career and look forward to staying connected with you.